At the top of the pinnacle is the defending champion, and that, of course, is Scott Dixon. He won this race as a rookie a year ago, and then he went on through the championship battle. And going into the last race of the season, there were 5 different contenders that could have walked away with the championship. Dixon did exactly what was needed. He got the championship at the end of the day. The question now, Jackaroot, is can he repeat?
Well, Paul, if you're into numerology, the answer would be yes. Consider this fact. 1 year ago, this guy started in the 12th position, went on to win. Where's he starting today? 12th position. Let's put the question to him. 12 seems to be your lucky number here. Can you score the double?
That'd be nice. I think it was kind of funny. We sort of were hoping to break in the top 10. We knew we were going to struggle for qualifying, but we have a great race car here yet again. Hopefully we can move from 12th up to 1st, but there's a lot of teams out there that are going to try and stop it. Team Target have done a great job. You know, we're struggling. We knew we had been for the first part of the preseason, but hey, I think we have to work it out.
That's Foyt the fourth way down there making his turn into the pits. And the caution comes out. A car into the barrier going into the pits. And whoa, that's a big hit for a target chip Ganassi car.
But actually, it's good news, Paul. You see the driver actually remove the steering wheel himself and put it up on top, and that is the key thing.
Yeah, but no repeat win for Scott Dixon.
Right now, as a driver, you just say, you know something, the car did its job. That attenuator that they hit going into the pits is always something a driver has always had his eye on, not only here, but even Indy, Jill. You know, you come out of the turn so quickly going down there, and you just notice that attenuator there all the time, and very seldom somebody ever hits it, but when you do, you know it's a big one.
I tell you, it's a tough situation because under green, you can make so much time coming in and out of the pits that a driver, you know, even though it looks like you're going slow, you're pushing as hard as you can to that slow down lane, because any second or any fraction of a second you make will make a big difference when you come out of the pits. I know that I used to concentrate on that a lot.
All right, let's look at this. It looks like a pit entry problem. Elio had a similar problem. Boy, he caught that attenuator.
Yeah, I tell you, I'm glad I wasn't in that car.
See the speed, just carrying too much speed. The back end of the car starts to slide around. Remember, they don't drive on this track all the time on the bottom section there, so there is actually a little bit of sand and greasiness there every once in a while.
Let's go with his onboard. He's on the pit lane approach.
Hey, both Penske cars. Straight shot in pit ball. Pit speed.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you could see it. He was pushing the throttle really hard. When he thought he was going straight, he said, time to go. And it's a shame he lost it, but thankfully he's okay.
It's going to probably be a lengthy cleanup. One, because the car really took a hit, but the attenuator itself, which are just, I'll call them plastic barrels with sand in them, and when you hit them, they break, which is what they're supposed to do. But in doing so, it sprayed a lot of sand on the track.
I'll tell you.
Well, when he went into his driving suit, when he changed back in, he was walking with a limp.
We have a crash in 3 and 4. We've seen it happen a couple of times today in that area. Alex Barron.
Boy, he was right up there in the middle of the fight, too. Alex Barron catches the wall in 4, comes down, and is in a fairly awkward position at the edge of the pit road. And I would assume that you wouldn't pit anyway.
Well, it's obviously going to play into Rice's hand because he's getting a situation where he's close, and everybody else is just going to wait to see how long this yellow lasts, Paul.
They're suggesting that maybe he and Darren Manning may have actually touched. Now, this Delphi safety team, the very first thing they do when they get to the car, there's a set of LEDs on the side of the car that tell them what the impact injury was. It's connected in part to some accelerometers that they wear in their earphone plugs. And that tells them right away whether or not they really need to worry or whether he's probably all right.
Well, the key indication is that when the driver actually moves inside the cockpit, takes the steering wheel off, which is removable, and puts it on top of the cowling of the car, that's one thing. But remember, that's still a big hit. And those little LEDs you mentioned, Paul, will really tell them, even if it's over 50 Gs, because they find out that's about the threshold point for when maybe a driver can have some injury.
Well, and those kind of injuries can be so subtle. I mean, you've had them. Mark Donohue, it took his life. They thought he was fine, released him, but they didn't realize the kind of injuries that he had suffered.
Absolutely. There you go. Actually, both of them they absolutely touched. You can see just not enough room for both of them to be down on the very bottom there. Manning right down by the white line, just wiggles the car, moves up into Barron, and then you lose adhesion and you become a passenger. See?
Yellow.
I understood that.
Second time today that Takagi has narrowly missed an incident.
See how fast it happens.
And the good news is Alex Barron's going to be able to climb out under his own power as well. They're going to take him for an automatic trip to get a checkout, and Dr. Bach and the medical team at the Delphi safety team. Jerry Punch.
Alex Barron has come out of the infield care center. Alex, I know that you're okay, but you had a great run going. The car seemed to be consistently in the top 5, and then it was contact. What happened?
Coming in 3 and 4, Manning came up and hit the side of the car and put me in the wall.
Well, that blue-red car with the silver.
And the yellow comes out again. Whoa! Two cars right at the pit entrance. Greg Ray is one of them. There are 3 cars. One of them is a target ship Ganassi car. It looks like Hornish and Manning. Well, he was hustling the car. Look at the damage to that thing.
You can see the disgust with Hornish. He threw his steering wheel out. He wants out of the car. Both the left and the right side of it. He's probably obviously just ended up clipping the guys in front of him.
So Hornish climbs out, no problem. Greg Ray is the blue number 13. Ray is out of the car.
Guys, this is real lucky because that's in pit lane right now. It came in, hit the end of the attenuator. All 3 cars came in. If there was any pit stops going on at that point in time, that would have been very difficult.
Oh, look how angry Manning is. So let's take a look and see what set this situation up. We knew that Hornish was hustling pretty hard.
You have to see the bottom of your screen. All 3 of them coming around there. And Hornish was in the backside of it by the looks of it. He ended up just getting collected with everything that was going on.
Pretty much a victim. That's an attenuated barrier, a barrier that can collapse on you at the end of the pits. It's been tested before, and it looks like it's done its work again, but it was more what Ray and Manning were doing than what Hornish was doing. Ooh.
I've hit that, Paul, and I got to tell you, that's it's not a great feeling. That thing just does not move, but it looked like Manning being on the outside possibly just swerved away from the wall, caught into Greg Ray, and then Hornish was just taken out in the accident.
There's the victim.
And the bad luck as we look at Darren Manning also waving, reminiscent of the way Eddie Sachs and even the Brit Jackie Stewart had to walk back down to pit road one time. But for Sam Hornish, the ill fate at Indy continues for this kid.
And another rookie in Darren Manning out of the race.
See that? Greg Ray's just coming up. Manning's trying to stay on his line. And Greg ends up just getting a little bit high. There again, the dirty air probably from the car in front made the front slide up. Just goes and catches that left rear of Manning and sends everybody into a spin.
And remember, this is the Greg Ray, the same Greg Ray that told us he had to finish 10th or better in this race or he'd be out of business.
Right now, we send it to Vince Welch, who is with Darren Manning.
Well, one of those rookies that was having a good day up until that incident. Did you feel as though you had the pass on Greg Ray made?
Yeah, I was actually trying to pass Unser Jr. as well at the time, but so I don't know what was going on with Greg. I don't know if his spotter hadn't told him that I was there, but you know, he just kept coming and clipped my left rear. So you know, he should have maybe even seen me because I was well alongside him. So just a shame. I guess it was my fault really, because for being at the back of that in that position anyway. You know, I didn't have it in gear in the pit stop, and that dropped us right to the back of the field when we were running in third. So. Just a great shame for Team Target and Toyota, because you know that we were right up at the front of the field by that second stop with you know 120 laps to go, and you know, I had a quick car. We were setting fast laps. I was able to overtake and run with everybody out there. So just a shame for all these guys to put such hard work in. So a bit disappointing.
So we'll wait for race control to let us know the reason for this yellow. But my guess is the way people have been moving on one another that there could be some tiny pieces of debris. Let's look at this. This may be the reason here.
See, Carpenter's actually
Oh,
Barron's,
yeah.
Barron, on 51, not Carpenter. Barron is sliding up the racetrack. And look at this left front wing right now. That is bent. So a pit stop's going to happen very shortly so we can actually get that changed on Manning's car.
Yeah, but the yellow's going to work for him.
I'll tell you, he was lucky. That was the only thing that happened was the front wing there. And this is the kind of thing that can happen when you're running so close. I mean, anything and boom, there you go. But, you know, that may not be too bad for him now. He's going to come in, probably change the front nose cone and be back out there on the racetrack.
Yeah. Kanaan Franchitti continues side by side. This got to be Scheckter's on the pit road.
Just almost up with the steering. Steering's loose and then the middle of
And
the
here's
corner.
the reason why. Oh.
Whoa.
Okay. That's going to require some repair.
That's right there.
Yeah. Oh.
Good thing that Scheckter didn't end up into the wall.
That's maybe the most dangerous thing that can happen in open wheel racing right there.
I tell you, that was a scary one. You know, it took a lot of skill and car control, both on Thomas and Scott's behalf, not to make that turn into a complete disaster. But ultimately, Thomas had some damage to the steering wheel there because he came into the pits. But that was a heart-stopping moment, I think.
You know, join the gang. It's hot. Kitty started to slow, we thought, but no, he's fine.
Now this is where we see everybody coming out of 2 we talked about before. Here we come back to the Franchitti situation. The blue and white car right there. As soon as you get hung up from the cars in front of you and you take your foot off the gas, you lose that momentum with this new 3-liter engine, and then you become a bit of a sitting duck, and everybody just takes the opportunity to drive on by. And a little bit of touching going on with Manning there. That was an excuse me, pardon me, of coming through.
Get out of my way.
And you have a good chance to leave first. So right now his team's probably said, you need to be in front because we're going to have to pit very shortly. We've had no yellows.
How did they get away with that?
I don't know.
Unbelievable. Second time tonight, and they go yellow. So this is going to bring everybody into the pits. It's been 51 laps since the last stop. Oh, man. Oh. Yeah, you know, you put 2 cars together. Brian Barnhart and the IRL officials are absolutely right, hit yellow there, because you have no idea what's on that track, and a punctured tire could make it a whole lot worse.
Also, right now you want to look at Manning's wing on that right front wing, rather. He's got some damage because that wing is hanging down, so he's going to have to repair that nose once again.
But you know what? I think I've just seen the most impressive series of avoidances ever.
I tell you, that was definitely hard stopping. And Hornish also went up into the odd. He might have some damage too. So it'd be interesting to see what happens with Rice, with the Hornish, and with Manning.
So let's go back and look at that. If it didn't take your breath away then, it will now.
Everybody getting together. Rice trying to go down to the bottom side of the racetrack, just getting into the area where Manning is. You know, everybody's fighting for the same piece of real estate. He didn't want to actually give up that space because he worked so hard on Kanaan, could not get the job done. So he probably didn't even see Manning starting to come on the lower side. And those guys were very lucky. That could have been a big one, guys.
This is from Buddy Rice's point of view.
See, and wow, those wheels were just interlocking like that, and you can see why that right front wing got damaged. And look at all the action going on the steering wheel there. Guys, that's over 210 miles an hour they're doing that.
And the second time tonight, we've almost seen interlocked wheels. Pits are now open. And why the debris? Well, there's a couple of possibilities. This is one of them. That's Brian Herta as he came by Dixon.
Watch the front wing right there. Just a little movement. Sometimes that side plate comes off the wing, and the IRL will send the team out to go and look to make sure it's not laying on the track.
There's Darren Manning. A little bit earlier, last lap actually, he was running alongside of Fernandez. Going high on him.
See, now, interesting thing, you can see the right front tire of Fernandez. He was just turned and not getting any grip, slid up into Manning.
Run up by that car.
Pancho Carter.
Clear, clear.
Whoa! Hang on to it. Oh, that'll be yellow.
Sorry, guys.
Doesn't take much, just a little bit of movement in the steering wheel, and these things are going for a ride. You just become a passenger, Paul.
Darren Manning, who has had more than his share of trouble, and it's going to be hard to find a funnier or more likable guy in the series. And just too bad that he's had this string of bad luck and brushes with the wall. That one, of course, is going to end the day. Is he going to try to get it around there?
Well, you know, he thinks that he might just make it back, and he maybe thinks he could get it fixed, but...
Okay, just look out the left front of your car there, Darren.
But he's a driver, Paul, and you sort of think that maybe the damage wasn't so bad and you might be able to get it repaired. I did that once and said, you know, I think it's just a couple of little things, and pulled in the pit box, and the guys started taking off their radios and sort of told you that they thought the day was done.
Your first clue.
And he actually hit the safer barrier, the new safer barrier, the steel and foam energy reduction barrier that's been installed here by the people at Richmond International Raceway. Really helps cushion the blow instead of hitting a cement retaining wall.
Yeah, that's becoming popular everywhere. First tested at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Watch his
and
hands.
By them.
Back end started to come around on him just a little bit. He started to correct for it with his hand motions. Just ran out of room, and you can see the safer barrier that he's into right there.
Yeah, that's a very quick occurrence, isn't it? So Darren Manning out of the cockpit. You can see Jerry Punch is right there close by. So in just a moment, we'll be talking with him as they slow again under the caution. 134 laps complete. Franchitti still out in front.
From a man who's starting on the pole to a man who will not even be in the field today, let's check in with Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thank you, Todd. That's reigning IRL IndyCar champion Scott Dixon, who will not race today. He has not been medically cleared because of a hard impact in qualifying in his second lap on Saturday. That impact sustained, actually he had two crashes yesterday on Saturday. The first one a spin between turns 1 and 2, and the second one a very, very hard impact, destroying a car up in turns 3 and 4 on his second and final lap of qualifying. Now, he sustained a fracture at the base of his right thumb and a severe sprain to his left ankle. The thumb fracture is no problem. The ankle is the problem because he cannot push the clutch and brake. He is a left foot braker. And with a little help, Paul, possibly Dixon will be able to come back and race next Sunday at Michigan.
On a mile circuit like the Milwaukee mile is traffic. You no sooner clear it than you're right on top of it again, and that's Dario Franchitti's issue right now, though he runs clear, closing on Jacques Lazier, and Manning catches the wall. Not entirely unpredictable.
You know, that's 3 cars this weekend, guys, and with the Michigan race next week, these guys might be running out of cars and parts.
Yeah, they only have 1 week from today to get ready for the Michigan 400. And like you say, that one tub that Dixon wrote off was written off. I mean, that thing was a mess. These others, that looks, just as it sits there and lack of an expert eye, looks like that's fairly repairable, but it still means a lot of work on a week you really don't want to have to work that much.
Well, that's where the guys in the team are the unsung heroes, Paul, because those guys work for hours, a lot of late nights, probably all-nighters for these guys getting ready, because the truck would have to leave on Wednesday to get up there for Thursday tech inspection.
And this is a big break for Brian Herta. Let's not forget that, folks.
There it is, the red and white car.
4th in line. You can see the back end just start to slide around coming out of the turn. The car is definitely loose. When we talk about that, that's when the back end wants to swap ends, and certainly that's what happens. Now he's getting maybe a little bit of dirty air from the cars in front, but not so much. You heard him squeeze the throttle, trying to take advantage of getting some air off those cars in front to get a slipstream down the straight, and certainly did not have the back end stick to the ground. Notice how he took his hands off the wheel as he's going into the wall. You always do that, otherwise you end up with what we call driver's wrist.
And that's Hornish they were just coming around.
He also looks like he's flowing off the pace.
That's a battle for third there. All of them.
Throw it in the air. What is it going to be?
Scheckter, of course, is now 3 laps behind the race. So while he's running with them, he's not part of that battle. And the yellow Pennzoil Panther number 4. Oh, we got to beat another touch. Some part went flying there. 2 to go.
Definitely some debris on the track back there in 4. Some wings came off some cars.
But I think Scheckter got out of it, and I got stuck on the inside. Everybody went around the outside, and me and Darren got into it a little, coming off 4. It was just a bad 2 laps.
Franchitti had trouble on one of his pit stops. As they came in, the team couldn't pull the vent, but then they recovered quickly. And then yesterday, Dario headed into the pits in the wrong lane, and he got Scott Dixon. Well, there was no question here about whose fault that was.
Raises the wall on the right-hand side. Another one coming up with Scott Sharp on the left-hand side. Delphi car number 8 going into right now up into Dixon, just touching a little bit and moving on. They're not going to get away with this too many more times, Paul, before we'll end up with a yellow.
You know, those intervals, while interesting, are fairly meaningless.
There we go, touch between Kanaan and Rice. Kanaan started to go on the high side. He's been down on the bottom all day long. Probably wanted to see if his car would work up top. I think Rice surprised him, Paul.
Yeah, both of them, though, kept it under control. Oh, and this time, no. That's Rice upside down on the backstretch. He flipped up, got the car sideways. It got nosed higher in the air.
Hey, buddy, can you hear us there?
Car is not even stopped, Paul, and the safety crew is on the scene.
No answer, though. Manning, he's involved. You saw him reach out of the cockpit. So Buddy Rice is all right. He climbs out of the car after they gently turn it back right side up. Here's what happened.
Just at the beginning of your screen, you can see that he got his left rear touched by the right front of Darren Manning. As soon as the two tires touch, Paul, the rubber, then it just connects quickly and sends the car into the air. See, Buddy was just starting on his way down off of the turn, probably did not know that Darren was there. Probably more so on Buddy's line fault there of coming down a little bit too quickly. As we watch from the rear section here right now, you can see that Buddy, being on the right-hand side, just started to bring the car down to protect that inside line and ended up connecting with Darren Manning.
Yeah, Sam Hornish had to go down low on the inside to get around the car. There's Buddy sliding sideways, gets kicked up in the air.
And you saw the front of Darren Manning's car almost get lifted up also.
And taking a look at it, you saw Tony Kanaan going through the middle of this, so this is onboard Kanaan, the two participants right ahead.
You know, Tony Kanaan, after watching this, will be on the radio and going, boys, you would be amazed at what I just saw.
Tribute, though, to the strength of the cars as we watch from Manning's car.
The right front there of Manning, and here you see Rice coming across, crossing him, and then he just ends up getting the air underneath the car, lifting it up, and here goes Buddy up and over. You think Darren Manning didn't go, holy moly?
Or something of that sort. Unbelievable footage as Buddy Rice, second time this year, first time he did it at Pikes Peak on the start. This is on a restart where he got caught out. This time, though, it flipped the car upside down.
On the low side, making some great ground up there. And see how quickly he was going and catching up to that group? That is an incredible shot.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a huge weekend for Toyota so far. They said they'd bring more power to the table, and so far they've stuck to their word. Yesterday, after qualifying, they sat first through fourth on the starting grid. Unfortunately, one of those drivers, Darren Manning, spun on his second lap, hitting the wall. As you heard earlier, he suffered a minor concussion and a small contusion on his back.
Keeping it consistent. We got to give Ryan Briscoe a lot of credit, especially after the incident he had where he put it into the wall on practice.
I tell you, to me, he's a guy with great promise for this year. And he had a little bit of an incident coming here on Saturday where you really practice coming into the pits. And here's what he did. He's coming in way too fast, and he's in the grass. And at that point, forget about it. You're not getting it back. And here was a very dangerous thing that happened because he crossed the racetrack. And if there was somebody coming at speed, that could have been a very, very large accident.
And on the inside, we've got a yellow once again. Coming out of turn number 4. An unfortunate turn of events for one of the target Chip Ganassi rides.
I think it's Ryan Briscoe.
And it's Ryan Briscoe, the rookie we talked about from Australia, was having such a good run.
That's the second accident for that team this weekend with Briscoe. We showed you the one earlier where he actually slid off the pit entry lane coming into the pits. Last year they lost a car here also with Scott Dixon coming into the pit lane and hitting the wall on the entrance.
Well, I'll tell you what, that wall coming up turn 4 has really been his bad mojo area, because this is exactly, Gilles, where he went into it on practice the other day.
This is a much bigger accident, though. Let's see what happens.
There's Briscoe, number 33, in the right side of your screen.
Yeah, he gets too close behind AJ Ford, the fourth, loses the aerodynamics of the car, loses the rear end, and at that moment, you're a passenger.
Goes up and hit that wall that we see right there. That's the safer barrier, the steel and foam energy reduction wall, which really takes out some of the bite when you hit the wall.
So Ryan Briscoe's day is done. Let's send it down to pit row and Jamie Little. Back to Miami, and we have had a multiple car crash. That is Brian Herta, the XM satellite number 7. He is moving inside the car, and it was just after the start on the green. And Gilles, that is the worst side right there, fire.
Yeah, that's Danica Patrick there. That's an unfortunate end for her. She opened her visor. That means she's probably okay, but that fire doesn't look too good to me.
Well, the Delphi safety crew is on their way, and this was just after a restart, and Danica was actually being recycled back for a pit entry violation, carrying too much speed. But they've got to get there and get that fire out quickly. Meanwhile, they're at Brian Herta right now, and there's a lot of debris on the track. So another yellow comes out, and we will hopefully get word momentarily. Scott Sharp also caught in that one, and the 55 of Koski Matsuura.
A lot of cars.
That's a huge amount of cars, guys. They just got a complete amount of cars right in turns 3 and 4 as we watch Scott Sharp start to get himself out of the car. Obviously, he's doing just fine.
With 6 cars, Scott?
6 or 7 cars. I mean, we have just lost a large amount of the field, because I think somebody just started to slide sideways in turns 1 and 2 on the restart. And once you do that, boy, you just collect a lot of guys to go along with you.
Koski Matsuura out of his car. That is Ed Carpenter, number 20 on the Vision Racing. His stepfather, of course, Tony George. His mother will be happy to see that as he gets out of the car. So far the reports have been good that everyone is up and walking around. We're going to have to go back to this and see what exactly triggered this. Tomas Scheckter also collected in that. So the count continues to go up on lap 159, a major incident. And here it is.
There we go, 3 cars side by side going through there right now. The car on the top, number 55, Koski Matsuura, is up in the dust, up in the dirt. The back end goes around, goes along and collects everybody. And now he's going to hit his teammate right there, Scott Sharp, right in the side. So that's just cold tires, Jill, as you know. And being up there as the race continues on, a lot of debris starts to get up there, and it's not the place to run.
Well, listen, we've got the cameras on board, 7 onboard cameras in our friends over on ESPN2. Here's Scott Dixon's look at the incident as they were coming into turn number 1. He had nowhere to go.
Brian Herta loses it almost all by himself up in front there and takes Dixon out with him. I think he's been running second a few times, obviously won 3 times last year, won last weekend, but he now has his sights set on the championship and the Indy 500.
This is Ryan Briscoe coming in, part of the Target Chip Ganassi team. The young man looks like he's changed that whole front end. He's a rookie out of Australia, and he had a bit of a wiggle yesterday in practice as well.
He did, and I spoke with him just after practice this morning. Thought he had not a bad car. He knows he needs experience. He needs to make sure he finishes races. Looks like obviously he touched somebody on that restart. That's why they had to change the wing.
Back on board the number 7 of Brian Herta, now back over to the Target Chip Ganassi car. And this was just moments ago on board with Darren Mann as he comes up on Paul Dana.
Paul Dana, a rookie right there. Watch his hands. He got hit on the right rear corner from Paul Dana, and shortly after that, Paul Dana came into the pits and had a problem with the right rear wheel bearing. He is now out of the race.
Well, Jamie, down here, rookie Paul Dana has climbed out of the Himmelgarn car. And Paul, what put you out?
Well, we never really recovered from our crash yesterday in practice. We're not really up to speed. And I'm in the way out there. One of the Ganassi cars just ran over me. Now, he could have not run over me, but we could also be up to speed, so it's kind of our fault. The other thing is we didn't have any radio communication, so I couldn't hear my spotter. The crew can't talk to me. We couldn't really effectively tune the car to try to get back in the game. So the front end was bent up a little bit. We just thought it'd be better to park it, get out of everybody's way, and get some testing in, try to be better for Motegi.
Paul Dana, after a top 10 at Miami, a tough start here at Phoenix. Let's check in with...
How you deal with this traffic situation. It's always there. It's unavoidable. And you saw Dario trying to set Helio up on the main straight when he got traffic. And now Sam is trying to set Dario up.
And that's really all the traffic did. Bring it in, and we've got a yellow flag. And it looks like Ryan Briscoe, once again, is that the exact same spot?
He's not having much fun today, I can tell you that.
When I spoke to him, he said, I just need to hit the miles on, as I mentioned before, and he seemed very content on doing that no matter where he finished.
On board with Ron.
The car is difficult to drive. It's a long day. You just want to go home, basically.
Ryan Briscoe right there getting up very high.
Yeah, just run up into the marbles. And when you're in the marbles, you have no more steering, no more grip, and you're just there for the ride. Watch that. He's running a little high there, a little high. See you later. Bye-bye.
A little bit of dirty air off the 17 car you saw on the bottom right-hand part of your screen, Vitor mirror, and that probably caused his incident.
For Ryan Briscoe, this has really been his Waterloo as they come under the Honda bridge. Earlier in the week, during practice and qualifying, Ryan Briscoe once again had an incident back on Friday, and here it was.
Run wide coming out of turn 2, hit the wall on one side, hit the wall on the other side. He got no brake, no steering wheel, and that's one destroyed IndyCar. And a bit sore rookie, probably.
Yeah, no question about that. I'm sure Chip Ganassi not thrilled about having to pick up the tab on that one. Scott running, what, about $500,000?
Well, you know, it gets up there. Those front nose cones are about 20 or 25,000. You start adding those corners on, but you know, it's also the pride of a driver coming onto a team that's won the championship before. You want to do well, and you know, Chip's also released some drivers mid-season, so he's probably got to get himself up there and start to finish a little bit. Don't you think, Jill? Or else maybe he'll be looking for a ride.
And watch Tony now. He's got a lot more grip than those two guys ahead of him. You can tell the way the car just comes off the turn instead of fishtailing all the way up down the straight.
And that brings a great point, Joe. And they're braking right now. He tried this before.
Look at this.
Nope. Man, they're bumping around.
You got to be kidding me. He puts a Firestone tattoo on the side of the number 10 of Darren Manning, and Manning looks like he's going to lose another position. So Manning right now has got to be thinking, what is going on? Corner it happen one more time.
Diving down the inside. Look at that. He just keeps on the drives right over the curbing himself. He gets back on the gas right now. That's a pardon me, excuse me, I'm coming through, guys.
Well, while Darren Manning was recovering, he loses another position.
Darren Manning say, I have none of this, so he turns in like Tony is not even there. They touch. They both survived the incident, which is amazing to me. There you go.
Andretti Green jumps up 2 positions, and Dario Franchitti. No, it's Koski Matsuura, number 55. He tries to make it another one, and he causes a major incident as he tucks it in there. Scott Dixon, can he get it running again? Look at that driving ability. That's what I'm talking about.
Hey, trust me, you just want to be doing that at the end of the race after you win, not halfway through the race.
You know, and at that restart, he was certainly starting to move up. Dixon was starting to make some moves going into turn 1. He knew that he had a fast car. You see your teammates up there, you got to think, man, I got to get there.
Question.
And we are back on board with Scott Dixon. This has happened moments ago. And there's Koski Matsuura on the inside, number 55. He gets together with Dixon, cleans him out. Brian Herta goes around. There's debris on the track. And Dixon gets up and going again.
The second time right there, I don't think that he's going to be able to stay on the track without a penalty.
I think the officials are not going to like that at all, Scott. I think you're totally right. That was not a cool move because Tony was already on the inside and he pushed him against the wall on the inside.
9 laps to go. Ryan Briscoe, number 33 year leader. How long can he hold on? Tony Kanaan, they come together. And it's Briscoe into the wall, and that time he paid the price. Tony Kanaan will take over the lead, but will we stay under a local yellow? Chip Ganassi not happy there. Is it a situation that he had to do that because of his tires?
Yeah, and
he paid the price for it. Excuse me, Joe. He paid the price for it because he ended up slowing up, and his teammate Danny Weldon has gone by. But another, pardon me, excuse me, move. But you know something? He was angry for being blocked those 2 times, so he was just going to barrel in there and say, I'm coming through, buddy.
Absolutely. He tried to get Brian Briscoe by surprise. They touched, and then Weldon took advantage of the situation.
One more time. Ryan Briscoe's number 33.
Right now, The green car, 7-11, Tony Kanaan, new tires, can go in deeper into the turn with the braking situation. You see Ryan Briscoe being pushed off into the tire barrier right there. But as we ride along with Tony, listen, on the gas, stays late, hard on the brakes right now. Turning left, and bang, knocks the camera off for us. He's going to continue on, but in the end result, he's going to end up being passed by his teammate. Again, there you see Tony going on the inside. A nice little clip and a bang going off. You see Weldon coming through there at speed and momentum, slipping past Kanaan.
Nope. Bring it around one more time, as they say in Japan. Gokuro-san. We are off and racing at Twin Ring Motegi.
Danica's not backing out. She's got the high line.
She's not backing out, Scotty. She's moving to the front of the pack. Sam Hornish Jr. on the inside in the red and white car. And it's Danica Patrick to the front. An unbelievable move by the youngster. Oh, and right off the back, we've got problems, and that will bring out a yellow. And Scott, not even one lap, and it looks like either Roger Yasukawa and Scott Dixon.
The bad luck for the Chip Ganassi Racing team just continues on.
And we'll have to look at that again, because I don't think there was any contact, although it's Jeff Buckman, actually, number 44. He is running the same colors as number 24, his teammate Roger Yasukawa. That is definitely the 9 of Scott Dixon and the target Chip Ganassi. First and foremost, the most important thing is that both drivers are okay. And there you see the safety crew getting to them, making sure that they are responsive. They will check the cars now. But unfortunately for Jeff Buckman, his first foray into IndyCar racing, not memorable.
Not very successful, and they started beside each other, actually. Dixon was just on the inside, Buckman on the outside, so it'll be interesting to see how this transpired. And, you know, you can see the shield is up right now, and Scott Dixon is already standing out of his car. Not a very successful weekend. The safer barrier that we've talked about, you can see it right there. Is a great new system that's been in the States here for quite a few years. Now, Honda has brought the system over to this racetrack just for this one event. They only run one race here a year. The time and the commitment and the funding to actually bring this in has been really great on Honda's part.
Taking every precaution, and Jeff Buckman, this is not the way you want to start a 6,000-mile trip, 14-hour time zone away, and here's how it happened. Way at the top, it's already into the wall, Scotty.
Already up at the top. You can see the section up there. The cars are already in there. So, you know, I don't want to place any blame right now because we haven't seen the very beginning. But, you know, with cold tires and your very first race, as we're going to ride along here right now, you can see how the car just sort of moves because it is very rough there.
Yeah.
I would have to say Buckman's already backwards, right in the middle of the turn, and takes out Scott Dixon.
So for Scott Dixon, the slump continues. After leading in 15 of his first 17 races, he has not led in his past 17 starts. And so for
back at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, an incident just in turn 1 a moment ago. Rookie Ryan Briscoe climbing out of his car. He had just come by and completed his first lap of qualifying at 2:25.650 for the target Ganassi rookie. And the impressive rookie who had been so quick early on in the week having his troubles again. Take a look here, Greg.
Yeah, it looks like he was just kind of high and missed the line a little bit and maybe tugged on the wheel. And he actually ran a really good lap. He matched his morning lap.
One more angle here, looking across the turn at it, middle of the groove.
Yeah, he looked loose from right at turn in, so it looks like he lost the car and he never could get the car down, and is lucky that the car didn't turn over right there.
Really had the car trimmed out here. Briscoe, who had been so quick early on, and just the back of the car gets up in the air and comes back down. And I got to mention, the Indy Racing League put stall strips down the middle of the fuselage along the front of the tub there just for that purpose, to stall the air so the car would come back down on the ground. Now, moments ago, Danica,
before he gets out in 11.1 seconds. And we've got a problem on the track there. You see it, 2 cars involved as they come down, one down to the grass, and everyone now trying to just get out of the debris field, Scott. And that usually is the biggest problem, as Sam Hornish Jr. can attest.
Well, the one car down the grass right now looks like it's a 70 car.
Oh, I think that's Richie
Hearn, and another target car, which the rear wing is off the car, and we don't have a number for that one right now, but
Scott Dixon.
Scott Dixon.
A past IndyCar Series champion, Scott Dixon from New Zealand, another one of those blokes that Russell Crowe referred to, and wow, that is just too bad. Richie Hearn especially, with his owner Sam Schmidt being here, and the story that we heard from Brent Musburger and Jim McKay, I just was hoping out of hope that it would be a great day for Sam Schmidt. But any day you have Sam Schmidt here is a great day. We'll watch the replay one more time. What happened here?
Here they go. Everybody rushing down to the first turn. Everybody looking like they're going for the same piece of real estate, as we always call it. Hearn coming down on Dixon. Looks like Dixon probably had a good run going on Hearn. Dixon was running as high as 9th, and Team Target has not really had a lot of success this month, and a lot of luck, obviously, with Manning crashing over there in turn 2, going into the barrier, much the same way that we see Dixon doing that right there. And Dixon running as high as 9th, as we see Richie Hearn turning down on the Target car right there. Should have seen him. He was really clearly beside him. There was absolutely no way he gave him enough room to actually get through.
Number 70, Richie Hearn, out of Glendale, California. 34 years of age, driving for Meyer Coca-Cola. Here it is at full speed, and you see how they pull their hands off the wheel. Scott, tell us why they do that.
Key thing, you don't want your hand on the wheel, because when the wheel hits the cement wall or the retaining barrier, the safer barrier, it spins the wheel around so fast you'll certainly end up getting your wrist broken. The more I look at that right now, the spotter for Hearn definitely had to tell him somebody low, somebody low. Richie, I think, thought that he had enough room. With a second look at it right now, the car's beside him, but back on his left rear flank. Possibly he did not see him, but the spotter has to tell him, give him room, give him room.
Scott Dixon starting 13th. There you see him out of Auckland, New Zealand. 24 years of age. He's had 2 Indy starts. Best finish was 8th back in 2004. So the pin with Jamie Little.
Well, it's good news for Scott Dixon. He is here and able to talk to us. Scott, what happened from your perspective?
I think just there's a lot of slow guys out there, and some of them should be off the track at this point. But I don't know. Richie sort of was trying to pass a bunch of people. It's like 4 cars trying to go into turn 1. So that's what happens when nobody knows where everybody is.
Well, they talked about that a second ago. Whoa,
we got a yellow. Someone has put it up high into the wall, and that looks like a vision car.
Now look at those yellow lights flashing right below the white of the wall and the black of the track. Is something that they put into the track here to alert the drivers in your sight line. There goes the steering wheel out. Actually, I wonder.
He took that out before he came to a stop.
Yeah. Now there's those lights that we talked about. Sort of neat to see how they flash. It allows the drivers to sort of see where the yellow comes out very quickly.
Driving around.
Ed Carpenter communicating back to his pits.
Tony
George. Also the head of the IRL. Well, doesn't look happy. Seen him happier than that, Scott.
They have had a tough time even at Indy, but coming up to finish 11th after a strong day was actually very good for him to finish the event and get the experience. And they have not been very quick. There's his mom, Laura George. I watch her actually when he's out in the racetrack, and she's a very nervous mom. Here we go along right now, riding along Manning. Let's look ahead and see what's going on. Actually, it looks like something possibly broke in the car, Todd, because anytime the sparks are happening like that, going down the straightaway, you can see those yellow lights that we were talking about before. See, he knows something's going on. He's pulled to the right-hand side, very smart, and all of a sudden now the car is starting to drag on the ground. The right rear tire is going flat. The right rear tire is definitely gone flat. He felt that, moved over to the right-hand side, and you could be able to see, it's the right front tire. Pardon me, the right front tire looks like some suspension piece possibly broke, and then the right rear tire becomes flat once he turns around and starts grazing the wall.
Well, we're going to have to watch some replays because, as his stepfather pointed out, Tony George, looks like there was some contact made with Ryan Briscoe. Let's check in with Jamie Little.
Well, we'll get it straight from the horse's mouth. The owner, Chip Ganassi. Chip, your rookie, Ryan Briscoe, we heard that there may have been some contact. What did he say?
He did, Jamie. I guess they were 3 wide down there. I don't know what. I don't know whose fault it was or anything, but fortunately he's okay. We're not losing any tire pressure. We have tire pressure sensors on the car, and our tire pressures look all right, so we just made a little wing adjustment. This is Ryan's first time here, so he's learning his way around a bit, but he's doing just fine.
Quickly, Kite dropped down on top of Tomas Scheckter, almost clipping his front end.
Toyota has done such a great job. Here we go.
Got the yellow comes out, and it's Scott Dixon this time. That is turn 2.
Remember, he was off strategy, came in just a little bit earlier. You see the steering wheel come out of the car. Means he's okay. Probably be very disappointed. Remember, we talked about him winning here in 2003. I believe led every lap to go on and win that. The hose that he's pulling off is the drink hose that goes into the helmet. A short night for him. He's not had a very good weekend here as far as speed is concerned. It's very tough, Todd, when you are running a little bit off the pace and your teammate, for instance, Ryan Briscoe, qualifies up front, is running up front, running third currently right now. Darren Manning, his other teammate, is running 11th. But it just didn't seem like Scott sort of got on the pace here this weekend.
Well, this could be a lengthy yellow as the debris is strewn throughout turn number 2. And let's look at this one more time and find out exactly what happened. This looks oddly reminiscent of what happened to Tony Kanaan in qualifying yesterday. Good to see him getting out of the car. Here it is.
Looking backwards right now, actually trying to defend just a little bit. Gets touched right there by 27 Dario Franchitti and gets turned around. Remember, a lot of people going for the same piece of real estate right there. Now, Scott Dixon would probably know that Franchitti's coming underneath him because of the spotters that are up on the stands there. Radio communication constantly to the drivers on the racetrack. But you can see he just touches that left rear of Dixon and sends him into that safer barrier.
Watch this as we go on board with Scott Dixon. Dario Franchitti, you'll see him on the left-hand side just tucking underneath.
You saw that white front wing just come up there and touch the side pod on that left side and sends the car off into the safer barrier.
Well, Scott Dixon is up and moving around. That is the good news. For more, let's check in with Jamie Little.
Well, Todd, I'm joined by Mike Cole, Managing Director for Target Chip Ganassi Racing. Unfortunate for you guys, Scott Dixon was the man here 2 years ago, but you've struggled this weekend. Just watching the replay, what did you see?
Champions don't win races by being impatient.
What did you see?
That's it.
Frustration here, Dr. Punch?
And we are back to racing or non-racing action, is the case for number 33, Ryan Briscoe, folks. That's why he's one of the best in the business. Scott Goodyear just moments ago said Ryan Briscoe is going backwards. I don't like this. And not 2 turns later, Scotty, he puts it into the wall.
Well, the key thing, as we always talk about, is that consistency, you know, and whenever you get the traffic packed like they had, everybody gets a little anxious. Sometimes patience starts to go away when you're a race car driver. Those guys started to run 2 or 3 abreast in the turns, sometimes 4 going down that back straightaway during that last break, you know, and that's just not something that's going to play out to be very, very smart for these guys, Todd.
President and COO of the Indy Racing League, Brian Barnhart, could not have been happy with that. He was talking about being patient here, which he usually does in the drivers' meeting, and we saw the traffic on that backside. They were 2, sometimes 3 wide, all bunched up.
Here we go right now, obviously looking to go around all the cars that you're coming up upon. And watch here, just gets up onto that high side. The back end comes around, getting a little bit of dirty air off the back of Danny Weldon's car possibly. But when you're in traffic, you start to work the throttle a little bit, and these cars are so pitch sensitive with the dirty air that comes off the car in front. Sometimes that back end just swaps around. That's what we call oversteer. We've seen it here a couple of times. We saw it with Tony Kanaan the other day when he was on his qualifying run.
So
you know, if you get held up with traffic in front of you, that's where the yellow comes out right now.
Oh, and turn two. Roger Yasukawa and number 10, Darren Manning. We'll have to look at the tape because Darren Manning is not happy. Here is a young man from the UK. He usually has a smile on his face all the time. And Scott, dare I say, he is not a happy man.
Looks livid. That steering wheel he's throwing around is somewhere around $20,000, but that's a lot of damage to these cars right now. Darren Manning getting out right there, who loves to play golf. What a great guy. Joined Chip Ganassi last year, 2004, finished 11th in the Points Championship.
I think he'd like a 9-iron right now.
Yeah, and I think he's actually, we're going to just direct you this way, sir.
This is like a charge the mound moment. He's just going to go over and set up dinner reservation, I think, with him.
You know, he thinks better. He just says, you know, too many people are watching me. I'm on national television.
Short track, short tempers. We didn't want to be the ones to tell you we told you so, but we told you so. He's trying to decide whether to go visit with Roger, who was out. Good to see him up and moving. We will go to the proverbial videotape and have a look at this, but with 7 laps to go, 3 crashes, 3 target cars. Not a good night for Target Chip Ganassi. And Darren Manning, the smile is not there, gives a nod, yeah, I'm okay, but he's going to have something to say. Let's look at the replay, see what happened.
Oh, Roger Yasukawa on the low side there again, just trying to let the guys go around the high side. Same spot, the same thing that happened with Scott Sharp. Puts the 3rd target car into the wall. Chip Ganassi, who's out in Sonoma this weekend with his Nextel Cup team.
Great view right here.
He's got the speed.
Yeah, he pushed right into him. Darren Manning had nowhere to go.
Darren Manning's, as you can see, a little bit livid. 3 cars, but you know something, I think Chip will look at it and say, you know, our guys were competitive this weekend, which is one of the key things a team owner likes to have.
And Scotty Adams.
At Richmond International. So 3 cars into the wall can be very expensive. You see over $360,000 in damage. And Darren Manning starting 5th today. Things have changed. Manning starts 5th today. Scott Dixon up toward the front. Ryan Briscoe qualifies 11th. And
Darren Manning and your leader, Tony Kanaan, into the wall. This is a multiple car collision, Scott. We are just hoping that everyone is okay. And again, a very hard hit on the right side.
What I'm worried about right now, a little bit of oil fire you see there on the right-hand side from Tony Kanaan's car, which I'll put out. But my concern right now is for Darren Manning, because he ended up being the contact zone for Tony Kanaan when he was going up towards the track. And Darren Manning got a huge hit right there, I got to tell you. But great to see the steering wheel starting to come off. You can see right there, the steering wheel is actually starting to come off, and he's actually moving around inside the cockpit, so that is great news.
As they throw down that absorbing substance that'll keep the oil from going all the way down to the bottom of the track as they get Tony away from his car. Good to see him up and walking, but he's got 200 miles an hour. Oh, as we have 3 replays for you now.
Here he is going through the tri-oval section. The car looks to be running fine, grabbing up top gear with his right hand. Let's watch his right front tire. And let's just see if it starts to move. Oh. There's a report right there. That is the front suspension actually has been broken, and he loses control of the car. Unfortunately, Darren Manning is actually in the middle of all that. Now let's watch again. He's turning into the turn, going underneath Darren Manning. Darren Manning does a great thing, Todd, because he leaves room right there for Tony Kanaan to come through, because he knows that Tony is faster than him. But you know, we've talked about these mechanical things going on right there. I'm not sure if that be necessarily a bearing situation, or if it's the right front upright that actually looks like it has actually failed and broke and put Tony Kanaan going in to Darren Manning, the red and white car, number 10.
What are the chances that it would be a bearing situation? Dr. Jerry Punch reported on it. 2 failed bearings thus far, they think, with Dan Weldon and Brian Herta.
Well, that's not really necessarily a bearing, because I think we actually saw the A-arm collapse or come out of actually its pickup point.
Here it is in real time.
Watch. Smartly takes his hands off the steering wheel.
Now there's Darren Manning. That is great to see that. So another yellow for debris.
And it looks like a flat tire right there on the left rear tire of Ryan Briscoe. Now that could have been something that he picked up during that accident, or something that he picked up still that might have been missed on the racetrack by the cleanup crew. His car's on the high side. Oh, right there you go. I take back the debris theory, and there you go. A little bit high, gets up, hits the wall.
Watch this. Looks like one of the Red Bull Cheever cars came up right on him.
He's just getting pushed up to the front. He's got the front end going, and then all of a sudden, there you go. Carpentier actually just runs over the left rear tire.
All right, let's set it back down to Vince Welch, who's Darren Manning, Ryan Briscoe.
Well, Vince, the bad luck continues for the Target Chip Ganassi team. Yesterday, their rookie Ryan Briscoe hit the wall in morning practice. Now, just to give you an idea, this is one of the only tracks that does not have a safer barrier. And for that, you can hear it in the sound. Watch and listen to this impact. Now, the Delphi safety crew, I talked to them earlier, they confirmed he hit at 80 lateral Gs. To give you an idea at home what that's like, you go to the biggest roller coaster in the world at any amusement park, the highest Gs you'll get is 3.5. He hit at 80 Gs, and that just tells you how good our safety crew is. Guys, he absorbed all that. He walked away from it. They actually cleared him to drive, but for precautionary reasons, they sent him home to heal up because we do have another race next weekend in Michigan. Dr. Punch? As an owner, Chip Ganassi was a major player from 1996 to 2003, including 3 straight kart championships from best friends and teammates Alex Zanardi and Jimmy Vasser. Juan Montoya had little competition as he dominated the 2000 Indianapolis 500. Ganassi turned to the IndyCar Series full-time and with Scott Dixon took home the 03 title. But the downfall since has been swift, expensive, and sometimes painful. Winless Dixon has struggled. Rookie Ryan Briscoe sat out Milwaukee due to a practice crash, and popular Darren Manning lasted only 34 laps. On Tuesday, Darren was fired. And after last week's race in Milwaukee, Darren Manning set 13th in the points, better than both teammates. So you can imagine the speculation that surrounded the decision made by this man, Chip Ganassi, on Monday, firing Darren Manning. I have to ask you, Chip, why did you let Darren Manning go?
Well, Jamie, it's it's a difficult situation. I mean, we've certainly had our ups and downs, as you can see there on television. And when we're down, people always look and say, "Gee, what's the reason you're down?" And there is no one reason. There's no one reason you're down. And when you're up, there's no one reason you're up either. And unfortunately for Darren, we've just had some performance challenges with him as of late, and we didn't want to take the chance of keeping him in the car, and he could be he just wasn't right. And I like Darren. I like him, and we wish him well. And you never know, we may bring him back for a road race or something. I mean, but he needs to get out and rest for a little bit out of the car, I think.
Well, some of those downtimes included 20 repaired crash cars this year alone this season, but things are turning around. Scott Dixon starting on the second row in 4th position, the only Toyota in the top 12. Perhaps today will be the day. And Jacques Lazier is filling in the number 10 spot. Todd?
Unfortunately, the debris field is large at the Michigan International Speedway as we have had an incident into turn number 2 as you are on board with Jacques Lazier. Just to his left is number 24. That is Roger Yasukawa. You saw Jacques giving the okay. Scotty, as they were coming across the finish line last time, we both said this is not good. It was too close. And I don't know if that other car up on the hill is Townsend Bell, but I have a pretty good idea that it is.
Just a lot of aggression starts to come out at the last part of that race. You can see Jacques Lazier right now starting to remove that headrest. Wants to get out of the race car. The 55 of Kotsuki Matsuura is up there on the wall. We'll have to go back and see if we can see exactly what ended up happening, but it started back in turns 1 and 2.
And there it is, Townsend Bell.
Townsend Bell, the 2 car. That's all the water that's on the ground from the cooling system. He's getting out somewhat a little bit slow. They do have the safer barrier here, Todd, that steel and foam energy reducing system that's actually on this race course, but still hitting these things at over 200 miles an hour is huge.
Here it is. You saw it in side by side. Townsend Bell with a wiggle.
Yep.
Scott Sharp gets around. And that's the big impact. Jacques Lazier had nowhere to go. Neither did Roger Yasukawa for that sake.
Something you remember, you travel the length of a football field in less than a second going the speed that these guys go. Already seeing the smoke. Car's starting to go around, and it looks like he probably got hit from behind from the 24 from Roger Yasukawa, possibly. We'll have to go back and see if we can see that. But the right front tire of Jacques Lazier's car is actually starting to bounce off the front hood of his car as he goes through. Now, these tires are tethered to the car with the tethers that they call the swems, which actually make sure that the tires don't depart from the car itself. But as a driver, you're sitting in the cockpit. That's something you're always aware of because the stuff just comes inside the cockpit.
Well, if you thought the video was dramatic, Scotty, let's listen in.
Car spinning in front of you.
And it's the long grind to the stop that actually makes the driver.
There's Townsend, yeah.
Oh, let me tell you something. That Jacques Lazier's car was turned sideways by Kotsuki's car is probably great luck for the 2 car of Townsend Bell, the rock star, because if he had pointed that nose going into the side pod of that car, the visions of Alex Zanardi in Germany a couple of years ago just come to my mind so quickly.
A man who will not be racing today, the 10 car, Target Chip Ganassi, Jacques Lazier not in. Why?
Very disappointing for him. We talked about the wind just a little bit throughout this race, and I'll tell you, when you get the wind going into turn 3, it takes it back into the car and pitches it into the wall. That's exactly what ended up happening to him.
That was the action yesterday. They made the decision not to put his car out there. We want to let you know, and talk about mile masters, you got to include the Scotsman and Dario Franchitti.
And making great fuel mileage, obviously going all the way now to lap 79.
We got an incident in turn number 4, and it looks like Ryan Briscoe, part of the Target Chip Ganassi team, has put it into the wall.
You all right? Oh, something went wrong. Something broke. Because I went...
Well, you heard him. He said something broke, and that's kind of an understatement.
Round, like, I wasn't even going fast.
Look at the pickup on the tire, though. Amazing to see just all the debris that you can see from the car going offline.
We have the benefit of having the onboard camera with rookie Ryan Briscoe. This is in real time.
Wow, you can see that big wiggle going into the turn. See the camera going 90 degrees. I'll tell you, that's hit. Even at 165 miles an hour, Todd, is such a huge hit. This is one track that still does not have the safer barrier around here, Milwaukee being the other. And certainly all the drivers have talked about they would like to see both Milwaukee and Pikes Peak get that safer barrier system for next year. Dixon's going to try and outbrake him, go into the turn, gain a little time on him, under braking, but he's got to get back on the gas as quickly as possible to take advantage. Here's Danica.
Oh my!
Actually going through 3 abreast.
And that's Ryan Briscoe on the inside. I don't know where he thought he was going, but Danica Patrick.
Are you stalled?
Well, that's some rookie form showing through right there. The fastest race car on the racetrack, Todd. Certainly the best car underneath them.
Stupid idiot.
Need to have patience, and you heard exactly what she said. Stupid idiot. She's not very happy.
And on the left-hand side, if I'm not mistaken, that's Elio Castroneves, who has also been taken out. And you remember Elio had an incident at St. Petersburg, and there he's got the Firestone tattoo on the left side of the car. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say the Pep boys are not going to be able to fix that real quick.
That car right now is not going to go very far, and you know something, a short day, all you want to make sure is you get to the end of the day, collect some points, but the frustration from a driver, especially Danica said, you know, I've just had a bad weekend so far, not running very fast, knows the road courses, but she's been very impressive on ovals. I think back to the short ovals, which everybody anticipated she wouldn't do very well on, but how aggressive she was on those short 1-mile tracks, like Milwaukee.
Well, Scott, she came under attack by not 1, but 2 or 3 drivers. I don't know if she was slowing down, but she was in the right place. She was in the right, and she just got shut down.
Well, I'll tell you exactly what was happening is that she was sort of in the middle, and Castroneves and also Briscoe were trying to go around her. Neither one wanted to actually give away any space. Here's Elio saying, I'm really sorry, calm down.
Been there, done it. Elio's a class act. He would never do anything like that. He's just an aggressive driver. Here it is again as we ride on board with Danica Patrick.
Coming up on both sides right now. See that? So Castroneves is on the left-hand side trying to go around her, take advantage of the situation. And Briscoe says, you know something, I'm going to lose a spot here if he gets through. And he's actually on the dirt, has no hope of even making that, even if she wasn't there.
Well, I've got to wonder then, Scott, take us through this as watch it one more time. Danica Patrick, is she trying to protect that outside line because she thinks Elio's a more dangerous pass and then Briscoe just saw the opening and said, I'll take it?
She's running in a perfect spot right there, exactly what she's supposed to do. And both those guys are driving over the limit on cold tires, Todd, after the restart, trying to take advantage of her situation. And there was absolutely no way that even Castroneves was going to make that on the outside.
Exhilaration of putting his car into the winner's circle, if he can hold this. Has he backed off, do you think, his normal race pace? Oh, we got problems. The 10 car, that's Giorgio Pantano. New to the series, not new to road course racing.
Mirror just fed him.
Was there some contact? We don't know right now, but it looks like the front wing on Mira's car. Yes, it is. The front wing of Mira's car has been damaged, much like what happened with Brian Herta. And a
local yellow, so this helps out Tony Kanaan. It does not help out Buddy Rice.
Let's explain what a local yellow is. That means it's yellow in that section only where the accident is.
1 to go, local yellow, turn 1, driver's right. Should be okay, just be a little careful through there.
White flag is out for Tony Kanaan. 1 lap left at the inaugural running of the Argent Mortgage Indy Grand Prix. And look at this replay quickly. Riding on board with Giorgio Pantano. He's got to make sure that thing's in gear. It doesn't roll back down the hill. And look at this.
He got blindsided by the left-hand side right in there. You'll see Vitor Mira coming on the inside, just punts him off to the right. And as the car was sitting stationary, you saw a big wheel donut on the side of Pantano's car. Compliments of Vitor Mira.
Great after racing here at Joliet, Illinois, Chicagoland Speedway. There's your leader, Tomas Scheckter, followed by Sam Hornish, part of the Penske team. Dan Weldon, the current points leader. Tony Kanaan sits in 4th, and Dario Franchitti. We've got a big yellow coming into turn 4. All kinds of debris, and it's the 33, the back end. That is Ryan Briscoe, who initially qualified on the pole, and as Jamie Little reported, after an infraction to his car during post-qualifying. He was disqualified, sent to the back of the pack, and there you see it in one of the Red Bull Cheever drivers. Looks like maybe Patrick Carpentier exiting his car quickly. He is moving, but Scotty, right now, the most important thing is to get him extricated from that vehicle.
Those cars are meant to come apart like that, Todd. I know it actually looks like it's just a mess. That's the engine front in the car, possibly. There's a lot of debris going on there. The bell housing and the transmission, it's made to break away from the cocoon, as we call it, the car. There you can see right there some oil fires starting, a lot of body work that's sitting on top of that. The engine must be somewhere else because it looks like it's possibly just the bell housing and the transmission. And the monocoque itself is where those guys are. And there's Koski Matsuura, the number 55, the Panasonic car that actually was involved in this. And he had a crash earlier in the weekend when he got hit from Thomas Enge's car out in practice. And disappointing for him because he finished 6th just last week at Sonoma. A great finish for him that he's had.
Well, Koski's moving. That's the important thing, Scott. And I want to correct myself. That's 51 Alex Barron, the Red Bull Cheever driver who got out of his car so quickly. Alex Barron actually walking down on the grass infield by pit in. Koski Matsuura and Ryan Briscoe, the 3 cars right now that are involved, and it looks like Ryan Briscoe's car took the worst of it.
All that smoke that's coming out, that'll be actually extinguished by the Delphi safety crew right there as you see a look at the Red Bull target.
Well, here it is again. Here's how they come into 3, Scotty.
Actually, you can see on the very underside what a ride that was. Remember we had last year with Buddy Rice getting airborne coming out of turn 2 when they touched wheels. And here's the situation. Briscoe going underneath. Barron trying to come down on the racetrack. They both are going for the same piece of real estate. And what ends up happening is those rubber tires touch, and then all of a sudden the car starts to go in the air. Remember, we're going 215 miles an hour. Look at all the debris that's going all around the racetrack. This will be a long cleanup time. And there's the engine separated from both the transmission and the monocoque where the driver sits. That's what we call kitty litter right there going on the racetrack, Todd, to dry up all that oil that starts to come off of those vehicles.
Let's look at this one more time and see if we can see the genesis of this accident.
Now looking straight ahead, you can see the cars just starting to come together. A little bit of rub, smoke coming off the tires when they touch. And then all of a sudden, as we're riding on board Scott Dixon's car, he sees this. He was actually a spectator in the crash just last year. Now watch those left side wheels. Those are down on the flat underneath the white line. He did a great job keeping that car straight with 2 wheels on the 18-degree banking, 2 wheels on the flat down on the entrance.
Oh my, look at that. And that is the fence by the safer barrier. And Scott and Ryan Briscoe want to just let you know that he is alert, conscious. He's been taken to the hospital, and all signs look to a quick recovery. Wish him the very best. So the point.
Well, perhaps a replay of Pantano's pit. There may be a pit infraction there. He may have gone over an air hose. Let's watch as he comes in, and there he goes over. Yeah,
he runs over the air hose. That
push the car back. They're going to have a drive-through penalty. So that will virtually take him out of contention.
Yeah, that's a tough break for him. But see, again, we think of Pantano as a great road racer, but this is something he doesn't normally do, make pit stops like this, and it cost him. He's going to have a drive-through penalty. It'll probably put him back to about 16th or 18th place.
The replay looking straight on. There he is with the cord.
You can see those red marks back there. That's where he was supposed to stop. And it's very difficult to slow down from 170 miles an hour to only, 60 when you're coming in like that. You'd stop.
You're back on board with him. Now you're back on board with Dixon. Oh, contact right there between Dixon and Franchitti.
Wow.
He came up on Franchitti. I couldn't tell Franchitti moved over or what happened there, but
see those guys.
Maybe 5. Maybe we should be champion this year.
We got an incident, big incident, turn 4. Danica Patrick has made contact with the wall. Two cars involved. One of them is certainly the target Chip Ganassi car, Danica Patrick.
All right, take your time. You're fine. The car's not burning. You're fine. Safety truck's there. Safety truck's right with you. Let those guys help you.
See how fast these safety trucks get there, Todd? We talked about that in AJ Ford.
Hey, nice job either way.
The good news is Danica is up. She is moving. The driver for Ray Hall Letterman drove a fantastic race. But Scott, You're a genius. You called it. You said this is too close at too high to speeds. This is an accident waiting to happen. She does not want to get in the safety car. She wants to make the walk back.
Walk back, but certainly has to go into the hospital, be checked out right there. A lot of disappointment.
Very disappointed Jacques Lazier.
Just lives down the road. He's been speaking with the team. Maybe an opportunity for him there next year, and so dedicated that he wants to do this so bad. He said, you know something, if I have the opportunity to drive for this team next year, I will move to Indianapolis.
Jacques Lazier, truly one of the great guys. Here it is one more time. Danik on the high side. Oh, we saw that earlier, Scott.
Cars just start to slide when you start to come off that last portion of the turn. Looks like maybe Jacques Lazier's car start to walk up, and we're only talking maybe 6 inches, Todd. We'll have to go back and look at that replay a few more times. Watch in relation to the white line on the bottom. The 10 car looks like it just moves up only 6 or 8 inches and just enough to touch tires, and off you go.
On board with Danica, this is how it looks from her perspective.
She just got the run on Jacques Lazier coming out of 2 over all those bumps down the backstretch. So close right there all the way. Looks like the line's going straight. Just creeps up and gets that left rear.
You called it. You said they were going to touch.
That is so hard. I have had that hit so many times. Listen to this. You know something? Yep, the wing goes off, the back of the gearbox is there. Now, all those pieces stay attached, Todd. The wheel, the wing, and everything of that nature, all those large pieces, because of all the attachments they have, the cables, the swims that actually are there to retain those pieces of the car to the main part of the car. Those parts are not flying around the racetrack.
We had the safer barrier up there, so that's always got to help as we check in.